The Circle of Knowledge podcast is brought to you by Amplified Minds, helping entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, and dreamers take their business ideas and goals to the next level. This podcast features best-selling industry resources and the professional panel discussion by the core team at Amplified Minds. Now, here are their discussions.
Welcome back to the Circle of Knowledge podcast. Matt Fritzsche in the house with myself, John Kovach Jr., super excited to get going and share a little bit more of knowledge with you. To start, let's give it over to Matt, who's got a fun fact and will introduce our book topic for today.
Okay, I think one of the most embarrassing moments I've had in my adult life, there was a point where one of our businesses was doing well, and I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, my wife and I. So here's the moment. The moment was we bought a souped up, as nice as you can get Audi, and 2 days later went back and returned it and was so shameful that I'd bought an Audi and had to say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, I jumped the gun on where our business was at. It ended up, our business even skyrocketed from there, and I ended up getting, some of my real dream cars, which I'm not an Audi guy, I'm a Porsche guy, as you know, and we've got a couple, but anyway, so I think one of the most embarrassing moments I've had in my adult life is when my wife and I went and bought that souped up Audi, and 2 days later went, we made a mistake. I was so sick inside, and we had to go back to the dealership and say, here, what do we have to do to give this car back to you? And luckily, they just hadn't processed the payment yet. So, they kind of we wiped our hands clean of it, but that's a little moment for me.
I think we've all had those shameful moments where we've made a decision, you immediately realize that's not the decision I should have made.
Oh, so I would definitely tell people to make sure you're clear on the timing, especially purchasing nice vehicles. And now, of course, I've got my dream cars, which I'm satisfied with.
Which is why we encourage people to make a dream board, so you don't make the mistake of buying something you didn't want.
Yeah, and a funny thing about what we're talking about is actually relates very well to this book. This book is called Principles from Ray Dalio. He's one of the wealthiest people on this planet, and he's a very smart individual. In this particular book, he's talking about the principles that he's learned throughout his life. And to ease in from my story into what I wanted to talk about today was using a 5-step process to get what you want out of life. And he has this cool little diagram that's very simple and easy to understand, if anyone can see, where the 5-step process is set your goals, figure out the problems that are keeping you from growing and excelling, diagnose those problems and figure out what you need to do, create a design to move forward, and then take the action. So again, I wanted to just break down those 5 steps to get what you want out of life. I feel like it's very vital for us all to understand what those steps are. I know as we've practiced it here between Amplified Minds, between Merchant Solution Services, between Intrapreneur, our 3 different businesses, of course, here in our little section of offices, you got to figure out where you want to go before you can take any action to get there, right? So you always begin with the end in mind. There's a Stephen Covey little pitch for 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Set your goals. Know where you need to be, and as you start to take action, you'll find the problems. You'll start to discover why things aren't working. So when you establish and figure out what those problems are, diagnose them. Figure out what you need to do to improve, to get better, and to solve the problem. I said diagnose. Now you just then design the plan of action that you need to take, and then take action. Start doing it. I feel like I've seen a lot of people. Now, in our last podcast, by the way, we talked about mad genius and the opposite of success is mediocrity, and how you should never accept failure as a reality. But I feel like too often, again, going back to what we said in that podcast, if you haven't listened to it now, go back and listen to it so you can understand what we're saying. But we've grown up in this fixed environment where people want to define who we are based on our failures. And every time, what that does is every time we fail, we go, okay, I guess that's not for us, and we move on. I cannot tell you how many times I myself, John, I know we've seen in a lot of our mastermind groups where people come in with business ideas, they take small actions, they face one problem, they give up, and they go move on to something that's next. So I think the most important things and what I want to discuss is having the guts and the courage to acknowledge you have problems, diagnose those problems, dig deeper into those problems, design a plan, and take action.
Yeah, and as an accountability partner for Amplified Minds, we use this terminology that sums all of this up into one thing, and we call it reverse engineering your goals. Because you have to know the end goal in mind. You need to know where you're going. You need to know what you're doing. And then as you reverse engineer it, all of those steps, take plan of action, a diagnosis, and then start working towards it. All of that leads to you taking daily, even minute by minute steps to achieve that end goal. Now, there's so many things that can be talked about this, and I think that it's just super important that people recognize that the most important thing right now is, like you said, Matt, to recognize that you have problems, or there will be challenges, or there will be failures, or there will be things along the path of your progress that will lead to discomfort, and that will lead to trial, and will cause you a little bit of pain. But that pain is going to lead you down that cycle, as we read in Principles, to deliver you a result which will give you more success in the end. And I love that, because as you reverse engineer the goals you set, you are then finding the daily tasks needed to get where you need to be. And honestly, like you said in another plug for the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is you're not building success through action, but what you're building is a long-term resume of successful habits. And you'll find that the most successful people in the world today are those who develop habits.
Yeah, and I think that whole 5-step process is, it's a train going upwards of habits. It's setting that goal, figuring out the problem, diagnosing it, so that problem brings you down, diagnosing it, designing, and then, taking action on it, and then you just keep looping up and up and up. And one thing that I think keeps us from acknowledging that we have problems is we're so close-minded. And Ray Dalio talks about that actually in his very next principle of be open-minded. You can determine if you're closed-minded, by the way. Some of the easy things to remember is if you're the one who's always commenting on individuals who, could potentially be smarter than you, and you're telling them how life works rather than asking them questions. If you're the one who likes to draw statements and tell you how things are versus asking questions, you're typically a closed-minded individual. If you're the one who, when people reach out to you and they throw out an idea and you feel like it's your right to give you your opinion based on, how that potentially won't work, you're probably closed-minded. I could give you a whole bunch of other different things that he talks about and how to determine whether or not you're open-minded, closed-minded. Closed-minded people don't like when their ideas are challenged. Open-minded people are more curious why there is a disagreement. Closed-minded are more likely to make statements and ask questions. I think I said that. Open-minded people generally believe they could be wrong, and so on. But I think it'd be very important for yourself, any one of us, to acknowledge whether or not we are open or closed-minded, because if we can get ourselves open-minded, we'll start to see the problems, and those problems are the reasons why, of course, we're not succeeding. And when you find that problem, you diagnose it, you design a plan, and then you take action.
I love that. And again, I think that's really the challenge we're inviting everyone to take part in, is to recognize, again, those things that you're closed-minded to and replace them. I'd say that, and the reason why I say, recognize is identify these things, write them down. One of my mentors currently asks me to write things down and then to replace them with things that can be replaced in place of those things. So when you can see what you're closed-minded to, for example, what ideas do you have that you think are the best and hate it when people challenge them? That's a great prompt to go about, and then to write at least 5 or 6 things down that you will then say, okay, I'm really close-minded to these things because I really think they're great ideas. And see if there's a way that you can integrate or be more open to those ideas. Now, as you become less closed-minded, you will then become a more successful entrepreneur, and somebody who can find success in their daily life, because you now have a plan for action to get to where you want to be. And I just think that's just a principle that just needs to be reiterated. And I know it seems kind of easy, but there is no secret sauce other than stop being closed-minded.
I love it. I think that wraps up what we want to take care of on principles. I wanted to throw a quick shout out to a gal. Her name is Camilla Craigius, and that's Camilla space Craigius, Kragius. She has an awesome goal that she's sharing with the world. She is trying to produce $1 million in the next 90 days that she's going to go put towards her nonprofit business, right?
Yep.
The nonprofit is what she's
her
working toward?
nonprofit and the other affiliations she's working with.
Yeah, and what... I would just challenge you guys to go look her up, whether it's on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and go follow her and, give her a wave and see if she has products or if she knows people who have products that can benefit you, because, guys, if you're not growing, you're dying. There is no gray area in this wonderful thing called life. So I would challenge you guys to seek her out, and if it's not her, if she can't be of any use for you, then I would challenge you guys to constantly be learning, listen to more of these podcasts, other podcasts, read books like we do, take my speed reading course when it comes out here in just a month or so, and just dive in to developing your education, because, guys, it doesn't quit after college. It doesn't quit after high school, depending on where you're at. So, again, principles, Ray Dalio, set your goals, begin with the end in mind. It's classic 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey, right? But understand, be open-minded to the fact that you might have problems, diagnose those problems, design a plan, and take action. Be open-minded, you guys. That's, I think, so important there, because if you can't figure out how to be open-minded to what's going on around you, you'll never be able to understand you have problems, and you'll never be able to grow out of them. And going, of course, back to our last podcast, Mad Genius, then you will get stuck in mediocrity, and we're talking about breaking that. So that's it, guys. I want to thank you again, Matt Fritzsche here, and, of course, John Kovach, for listening in on the Circle of Knowledge podcast.
Yeah, and as we close, I just wanted to invite you all. This is something we've never done before on the air, and I thought this would be really cool to do. Reach out to us. If you have questions, as you're learning things and you're trying to set goals, we are the thought leaders of accountability. We know our stuff. We read hundreds of books a year. We can provide you with solutions. We can coach you. We can do whatever you need. Reach out to us. Connect with us on social media. You can email us at info@amplifiedminds.com.
And I would also press that being thought leaders on accountability, guys, it is literally our business of Amplified Minds to provide accountability partners to you individuals who are seeking to grow yourself. It's very affordable, and all of our accountability partners are some of the best in their industry. These guys are top-notch coaches themselves. So allow us to hold you guys accountable, and let's work together to achieve bigger and better things.
Absolutely. Thanks for being a part of this beautiful community. Thanks for joining the Circle of Knowledge podcast. Hey, this is John with Amplified Minds. Thanks again for listening to the show. We really hope you enjoyed the Circle of Knowledge podcast. If you like the Circle of Knowledge podcast, go ahead, subscribe, rate us, and if you give us a 5-star review, we promise to give you a personal shout out here on the air. Just watch us. You can also engage with us a little bit more through social media. On any channel, you can just find us at Amplified Minds. To learn more about Amplified Minds, go to our website at amplifiedminds.com. That's AMPLIFIEDMINDS.com. You should also check out the Amplified Minds Accountability Program, where you can gain access to a one-on-one personal accountability coach, somebody who will contact you weekly and motivate you, hold you accountable, follow up, and give you the proper resources that will help you to go out and achieve all your goals. Hey, shout out to all you coaches, speakers, mentors, the superheroes of the world. We have the perfect program for you and your audiences. We have the capabilities of setting your audience and communities up in private mastermind groups and assign them a one-on-one personal accountability coach where they can help your people achieve the things that they're working towards tailored to your programs. For more information about this, go ahead and send me an email at John, that's JON, at amplifiedminds.com. I look forward to hearing from you.
Hey guys, Matt Fritzsche here. I'm very excited to talk to you guys about an opportunity that my wife and I are creating for ourselves. And it's more of a movement. It's more of something that we believe in personally. We believe that right now there's such a wave of this entrepreneur idea, this be your own boss mentality, stop working for someone else, start working for yourself mentality. And it's nice and all, but it's not for everyone. And we see that. And what's more unfortunate is that we see individuals who want to be a part of that entrepreneurial group, and they go out and they try it and they create hardships for themselves. But these individuals perform so well within organizations, and we're trying to raise that awareness. We're trying to excite the intrapreneur. So what we've done is we've created a business called Intrapreneur. And we are supporting those hardworking individuals, the innovators, the implementers that are the reason for business's success. And we're creating a community for that individual to know where they can go to be supported, to feel great about themselves, and to uplift and inspire each other. And you can actually find us at intrapreneur.shop. We sell different clothes, we sell different accessories, all to support that individual. And what we're hoping to do here very soon is we're hoping to get our community to the point where we are going to give away a Porsche Cayman S to one hardworking individual that definitely deserves to be rewarded for being a difference maker within an organization. That's a quick message I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you for listening again. Matt Fritzsche. Go check out intrapreneur.shop.